Hi, it's Art Mixture. Today we are going to talk about Denis Villeneuve's marvelous movie Dune Part 2. In a video will be discussed every aspect, which you should know before watching the film, so let's dive into the sandy world of Dune. Frank Herbert was an American science fiction author. His most popular creation was published in 1965 and it is called Dune. Frank Herbert in all wrote 5 books of Dune, the original story and 4 sequels. Following Herbert's death in 1986, his son Brian Herbert and author Kevin J. Anderson continued the series in 1999. Frank beside Dune also wrote short stories and worked as a newspaper journalist, photographer, book reviewer, ecological consultant, and lecturer. It took 6 years of research and writing to complete Dune. This was much longer than other commercial science fiction of that time. Dune was an immediate bestseller after its release. By 1968, Herbert managed to earn $20,000 from the book, far more than most science fiction novels of the time were earning. Frank Herbert explored many interesting topics in his books. His arduous ideas involved philosophy, religion, psychology, politics, and ecology. Fun is the fact that Herbert has attracted a sometimes fanatical fanbase. Many of his fans trying to read everything he wrote, fiction or non-fiction. Moreover, fans saw Frank Herbert as something of an authority on the subject matter of his books. Dune is one of the world's best-selling science fiction series around the world. Critical acclaim of the book has been underlined by the fact of winning the Nebula Award in 1965 and the Hugo Awards in 1966. Dune constantly considered as one of the best science fiction novels ever.
Well, I think it makes people uncomfortable, the idea that a human being can become something other than a human being, especially something mindless out of the depths.
The first part of a film directed by Denis Villeneuve was released in 2021. The movie has received excellent critical acclaim. This was the third adaptation of Frank Herbert's book following David Lynch's 1984 film and John Harrison's 2000 television miniseries. John Spice and Eric Roth co-worked on a screenplay of the film. Dune is a huge book with a variety of background stories. Therefore, Denis Villeneuve decided to make a 2-part adaptation of the book. The cast of the movie included A-rated stars like Timothée Chalamet as Paul Atreides, Oscar Isaac, Zendaya, Javier Bardem, and others. Principal photography took place from March to July 2019, and locations including Budapest, Jordan, Norway, and Abu Dhabi. Also, the widely acclaimed composer Hans Zimmer wrote an original score of the film. As it already mentioned, the movie after release was well received by critics and society. It managed to earn a total of $402 million at the worldwide box office. The movie got 10 Academy Award nominations back in 2022. Out of 10 nominations, it won 6 Oscars. Hans Zimmer was in the list of the winners for his original score written for the movie. The director of the film, Denis Villeneuve, mentioned that Dune Part 2 is not just a sequel, it's also a continuation. The second part continues from the place where the first part has ended. So as per Dune ended with Paul seeing a Fremen ride the Sandworm, the new movie will be continued from the mentioned scene. In Part 2, the plot expected to favor the second half of Frank Herbert's Dune, which tracks a 2-year conflict when Paul's rise to power among the Fremen and his eventual rebellion against Padishah Emperor Shaddam IV. In one of his interviews, Javier Bardem has suggested that there will be some alterations to the book. Though as the second half of the book has several action-heavy scenes, those scenes are expected to be included in the film as well. Second part of Dune is going to explore more deeply the relationship between Paul and Chani. Moreover, Denis Villeneuve had confirmed in his interview dated August 2021 that Zendaya's character Chani will play a much bigger role in the second part of the movie. On a red carpet for Bones and All, Timothée Chalamet was asked to revisit his old works. There he emphasized, "It's fascinating, it's something you don't get to do with movies. Revisit. Actually though, I'm feeling that with Dune. Speaking about how cycles match life, I was younger when I did it the first time, and was kind of blindsided by how big that movie was. And now as Paul Atreides becomes more sure on his heels, I feel more sure on my heels too." Despite the major characters' deaths and some disappearances in the first part of the movie, the cast of Dune Part 2 is undoubtedly even more exciting than its predecessor. Timothée Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Zendaya, Javier Bardem and Stellan Skarsgård are back to their initial roles. Though, there are major new additions to the cast. Christopher Walken joined the cast on the role of Shaddam IV, Emperor of the Known Universe, while Florence Pugh joined as his daughter, Princess Irulan, who later becomes Paul Atreides' wife. Interesting is the fact that it will mark as their second on-screen spouse role.
Fun fact about me is that
First time it happened in Greta Gerwig's widely acclaimed adaptation of Louisa May Alcott's classical novel Little Women, back in 2019. Chalamet during the interview with Variety praised Florence Pugh's talent. According to him, Florence is really special, she's an incredible actor, she was incredible in Dune, seriously incredible, she brought a gravitas to the role. An immense casting decision definitely was an Oscar-nominated actor Austin Butler, who depicted marvelously Elvis in Baz Luhrmann's film with the same title, and earned his first Academy Awards nod. Butler plays the role of Feyd-Rautha Harkonnen, who is Paul Atreides' rival and enemy. Harkonnen becomes the biggest antagonist in Paul's quest for absolute power. Butler talked about his character. Based on him, it's the thing of the bad guy in the world doesn't feel like he's the bad guy. He feels like he's the hero of his own story, and that can be a hard thing with certain characters. With others it's easier, but you have not to judge the character, and you have to find a way to feel the motivation towards any one of your actions. So we had a lot of conversations and crafted that together. Moreover, Butler underlined that it took months of training with Navy SEALs to physically prepare for the role.
Yeah, I designed that, so.
French-Canadian director and writer Denis Villeneuve is back to the seat of the director. As he mentioned in one of the interviews, he also has an interest in adapting Dune Messiah as one of the movies to cap off his ideal Dune trilogy. Jon Spaihts worked on the screenplay of the second part of the movie. Oscar-winning, well-acclaimed composer Hans Zimmer recorded the original score for the Dune Part 2 as well. Dune Part 2 is co-produced by Legendary Pictures, Villeneuve Films and Warner Bros. Pictures. Legendary and Warner Bros. Are apparently interested in carrying on the flow of Dune. As per the development of Dune, the sisterhood is still in talk. The story will be set 10,000 years before Paul Atreides' birth, and the series will be created for HBO Max. Villeneuve promised that film will include one of the book's most iconic scenes, when Paul has to master the art of worm riding in order to become the leader of the Freemen. According to his interview with GamesRadar, it's going to be one of the most exciting and challenging scenes that I will have to do as a director. Seems like Frank Herbert's original 412-page novel finally can get the deserved adaptation. Based on the information about, the movie sounds to be promising, even the fact of the goodness of the Dune Part 1 claims the same.
That if someone had not seen Part 1, he will still enjoy Part 2. Sure. That Part 2 will be an autonomous movie. Still, it's the direct continuity of Part 1, but to make sure that you can enjoy Part 2 without having seen Part 1.
Thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed walking through the sandy world of Frank Herbert. Please share your opinion with us. See you very soon.